Shabbat Shalom. Baraku et Yahweh. Baraku et Yahweh HaMevarak. Baruch atah Yahweh HaMevarak le'alam vayed. Baruch atah Yahweh leheinu melech ha'alam. Asher bekar benu makol hamayim v'natan lanu ha'torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha'torah. Blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the Blessed One for all eternity. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. To our King, our Savior, our Deliverer, our Provider, our Healer, our Sustainer, and our El, do we come to you today, Master, with bowed head and humble hearts, asking you, Master, and begging you to forgive us of our sins. Cleanse us of unrighteousness, Master, that our prayers be not hindered this morning. We ask that you would give ear to our supplications today, O King, and turn not a deaf ear to our cries. But hear when we call unto you, O Master, for you said, what nation hath an El so close to them that he hears them every time they call upon him? We come out today, Master, in fear and in obedience to your word that you made the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day you rested, and you said we shall also rest. So we keep your covenant today, O King, by coming and we congregate today. O Master, we ask that you would look at the supplications of our heart, Master, and that you would hear the words of our mouth, O King, and that you would hear our meditations, O King, and that you would lend ear to our needs and to our desires and to our wants and to those things that are needed to survive in this land. O Master, we thank you. We give thanks for life, health, and strength. We give thanks for food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that you have taken us out of idolatry and that you have shown us your wisdom, Master, and that you have shown us a little bit, and we strive every day, O King, to live by your word. We do not take them lightly, Master. We do not cast them behind us, but they weigh heavy with us every day, O King. We give thanks, Master. We give thanks to you for waking us up this morning. Or we give praises to you, and we come to bless you this day on your Sabbath, Master, that we shall not profane it. If we say or do anything, Master, that does, we ask that you would continue to show us mercies that you renew daily. Speak kind words towards us, Master. Speak kind words towards us and our families and our children. We thank you for watching over them and bringing them home every night as they have traversed throughout the highways and byways this week. We thank you for this congregation, Master. We ask that you will look upon all of those that are here and the families that are represented, and you have mercy upon us and look upon us with a pitiful eye this morning, and continue to bless us every day, O King. Continue to heal us. We thank you for all things, Master. We ask that you would hear our praises this morning, that they will rise up unto you as a sweet smelling savor, Master, and they are pleasing to you, O King. Until we meet again in this place, this is our prayer.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. For this is the day Yahweh has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. I want to say to all of you who are here in the building, shalom. It is another beautiful day that Yahweh has bestowed upon us. And for all you special ladies in the building who have children, grown children, baby children, I say happy Mother's Day to you. I've always said in my own opinion, as Sean would say, this is me talking. I think that the woman, the mother, was the greatest thing y'all ever created. Not only do you bring forth life, you're wonderful. You're multitaskers. You're managers. You take care of your home, your family, your husbands, your partners. Your mind is always moving. You're emotional. You're strong. You're compassionate. You're wise. You're everything that Yah can make you. And I think upon my mother, how much I adored her, how much I loved her, and how much I miss her. It's a tough time for me around this time of year. But I celebrate you. All you mothers, I celebrate you. Because you're everything to your family. You mean everything to your family. Sometimes you're the tree. And you bear roots. You're unshakable. You're unmovable. And then sometimes you're like water. You go wherever you're needed. You just go, you flow. Nothing can stop you. Mothers are very important. And not only this is your Mother's Day weekend, I mean, you should be celebrated through all the year. It shouldn't have to take a day. But I recognize, universally, this is the time to give you your flowers and to say thank you for all you do. And to all you mothers in this building, I love you. I love you. You are my family. And on this day, I give you thanks. Happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful mothers out there. And if you're watching through stream, our Atlanta congregation, through our chat room, to all of you mothers, happy Mother's Day to you, and shalom. Rukata Elohim, my Redeemer. Rukata Elohim, He's my Savior. Rukata Elohim, He's my deliverer. He's able, He's willing, He can. Rukata Elohim, He's my Redeemer, yes. Rukata Elohim, He's my Savior. I can hear my mom say, yeah. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my redeemer, yeah. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my savior. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my deliverer. He's able, he's willing, he can heal my diseases. He can mend my broken heart. He will carry me across my Jordan. Yeah, he's able, he's willing, he can. He's able, willing, he can. He's able, he's willing, he can. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my redeemer. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my savior. Baruch atah Elohim, hey, he's my deliverer. He's able, he's willing, he can. Come on, he can heal. He can heal my diseases. He can mend my broken heart. He will carry me across my Jordan. Come on, y'all. He's able. Hey, he's willing. He can. thinking this morning as I was getting ready for Shabbat. And of course, I miss my mom, but I thought about Miss B. All these great women of Yah who have been pillars in this building. I reflect on them and how much they meant in this building, how much influence they had in this building. And they are missed. And I call their names out only in remembrance of how much effect they had in this building. I call my mom, Lady Mary. I call Miss B, affectionately known as Miss B. We love you, we remember you, and you are never, ever forgotten. Elohim, I give you praise. I give you praise. With our hands lifted up, with our voice we sing Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. I give you praise. Elohim. I give you praise. With our hands lifted up, with our voice we sing Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. I give you praise. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, Elohim. We give you praise. Elohim. We give you praise. Oh, let your spirit fill my temple. Hey. Oh, you are worthy to be praised. Oh, let our voices sound with triumph. Oh, that you are worthy to be praised. Let your spirit fill my temple. Oh, you are worthy to be praised. Oh, let our voices sound with triumph. That you are worthy to be praised. That you are worthy to be praised. That you are worthy to be praised. Hey, that you are worthy to be praised. God. You know this. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will seek your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing our praises, hey, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. May our praise arise as incense, Yahweh. May our worship be a fragrance, Yahweh, to you. We will seek ye first, Yahweh. You will hear our voices early in the morning and late in the night. We will sing your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Here we go. May our praise arise as incense, Yahweh, to you. Hey! May our worship be a fragrance, Yahweh, to you. I hear you. I hear you. Come on, y'all. Come on. Offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Yeah, yeah. Offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. the night. We will sing your praises, giving you the glory, offering our lives to you, a holy sacrifice. Yeah.
All praise goes to the Most High El. Shabbat Shalom to everybody today. It's good for me to be back in this house once again. Something that I look forward to every week, being here with you. And I'm so thankful that you have chosen to be faithful to what the Most High has given to us here at First Tabernacle Fellowship. We are the odd man out, but that's okay. When I say we're the odd man out, we are the ones who believe the set-apart scriptures. It's amazing to me how many people do not want to hear or accept the name Yahweh. It amazes me. It amazes me to see what extent they go to prevent the name Yahweh from being expressed. But I have declared that everywhere I go and in every pulpit that I stand in, I will proclaim the name of the Most High El. There is no greater power in the universe, and I implore each one of you to remain faithful, because understanding truth and walking in that truth is what's going to preserve your soul. You've heard me say it before and over again. Your soul is important, not the house. This is the house. We make the house pretty. We dress it up, make it all nice and what have you, but the house is going to dust. But the soul is going to reside for a long time. I can't say forever. I cannot say forever that the soul will reside forever, because there comes a day and a time in which that only those who are faithful to the Most High El and those who love Him and whom He takes with Him into the final day are going to be those that are going to remain. So once again, guard your soul and be faithful to the Most High and what He has asked of us and what He teaches us. And remember one thing, even though we're the odd man out, when you read Scripture, the Most High only had a remnant. And He's only going to take a remnant into the 8th day. Zechariah tells us only 1/3 is going to make it. That's a remnant. So stick your chest out and raise your head and be proud to be the odd man out. Well, Ambassador Appleton, Rabbi Appleton, the junior rabbi, which he is now proclaiming himself to be, is going to come and continue with the teaching that he's doing in the book of 2 Samuel. Sean.
Y'all out here, y'all can hear me okay. All right, all right. Okay. As usual, I'm happy to be here. What else can I say when I am in front of and addressing the Most High's people on the day of this Shabbat? So, to Eye Asher Eye, Yahweh, El Elyon, which means in Hebrew the Most High. You say it all the time, but you want to know how to say it in Hebrew? It's El Elyon, the Most High. I thank him for his ability to allow me to be here one more again. To be with all of you and observe this Shabbat and to honor it as it is a part of our mitzvot. I'm ever so humbled to address you, and I hope that what you take away today is information that you yourself will do your own research and study on to verify it so you have experiential knowledge with it. What we don't want to be is what we were across the street, which was what? Parrots, hearers. People would just feed us the information, and we went back and never verified what they were talking about. And today, we're going to expose a prime example of it. It's called the paragon of resplendence, the poster child of not being able to do our research. So, to the Most High who has allowed us and given this wisdom, I say thank you, and I appreciate what you have done for me and my family. To the ambassador, Kevin R. Holman, who leads us in worship before the Most High. Shabbat shalom to you, sir. Ambassador Beacom, Shabbat shalom to you, ushering us in with prayer before the Most High. Ambassador Tate, who runs our media ministry here. Shabbat shalom to you. And before I do my last one, who you know who that is, on the screen, I want a mitzvot to be put up. Let's go to Vayikra, chapter number 19, verse 32. Now, I don't want y'all to blow this out of proportion when y'all read this. Vayikra, chapter number 19, verse 32. In this chapter, you're going to find what makes you set apart, makes you holy. But in Vayikra chapter number 19, verse 32, it says this. It says, stand up in the presence of a person with gray hair. Show respect for the oath. You are to fear your El, signed, I am Yahweh. For those of you that appreciate what our head teacher does by bringing us this information, I implore you by the mitzvot to stand up and give him a round of applause. So to you, Ambassador Robert B. Holman Jr., Shabbat Shalom. For all of you that are joining us by way of the stream, those of you that are in FTF Atlanta, I see all of you out there. All of the pan-Hebrewism around the world, Shabbat Shalom to you. To our descendants that are not here, that will be hearing this, letting them know that their ancestors walked in the ways of the Most High. That is very important because it establishes precedent for the things that are going to happen later on. Because do you realize on the way over here, I'm often running already. He said something. He says, you know what? All you got to do is get up there and just start talking, and the Most High just starts pulling things out. On my way over here, I had an extreme amount of adoration for the Most High because I said, you know what? I had the opportunity to live during the time when the books were opened. When that chapter in Daniel is fulfilled that says, this was the turn. This is how it all began. When the books were opened, this is how the minds of the people worked. And we are at the forefront of teaching those coming after us the things of the Most High. It's very important to understand. So, to our descendants that are not here with us today, Shabbat Shalom to you. Okay? Now, I'm just going to say this. You're ready to go to the stratosphere. Y'all not ready to go to the stratosphere today. You know what a stratosphere is? It's up there. Y'all ready to rumble? Hebrews Israel in this house. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All right. I am going to continue to keep reminding you of the mitzvos because that's what we do in here. All right? We have a Moedim that's happening this month. I went over it last week. That Moedim is Shavuot. Shavuot is going to happen on May the 25th. It is a Shabbat, okay? But prior to that day, I want to draw your attention to another day that we have during this month. It happens on the 15th of May. Anybody knows what that is? Your Rosh Chodesh happens on the 15th of May, which is next week. That means that the beginning of the new month is going to start, okay? We're going to enter into the third month of our spring season. This will be the last series of weeks before we get into the summer season, which will fall on a Shabbat. That day will change. When the summer season starts for us, it will be on a Shabbat. Okay? So I just want to continue to remind you of that. I will be doing a teaching on Shavuot that does not give you license or agency not to do your own homework about Shavuot before you get here. You need to have an understanding about what Shavuot is. I'm not going to tell you where it is because you need to look it up for yourself, Vayikra chapter number 23. Okay? Do the research. Own the information so you have confidence in what you know. You're going to hear that theme come up a little later on today. Okay? So that's our calendar. You can go ahead and get your Hebrew calendar. They're going to probably throw it up on the screen at HebrewCalendar.com. Make sure you go over there. This is the calendar that we currently are using in the 2024-2025 Gregorian calendar year. Okay? All right. I got to set the stage for some things. I got to jump back across the room. I'm assuming that everybody in here came from a Christianity background in here, correct? Y'all familiar with Christianity? Okay. How many of you in here feel apprehensive when you're talking to Christians about what you know? There's a little bit of a reservation that's there, okay? That it's a little difficult to speak about it. All will continue to say that the Most High is probably your best kept secret because you refuse to talk about him. It's like you're holding him hostage for some odd reason. Like the Most High can't do what he needs to do in this person's life through the conduit of your mouth. So, I want to ask you this question, which I did. Again, how many of you feel apprehensive? Because I only got one or two hands. Okay, so there's a couple more that come up. All right. Why I'm going to give you license and agency not to feel that way? When you need to confront somebody about that, don't feel apprehensive about it. Because why? Our prophets, let me give you an example. Our prophets came and told us about things that were germane to the present and to the future. They talked about the things that were a detriment to Hebrew Israel. Come out of idolatry, okay? Abandon the ways of the nations. Get back into right standing. We have a whole entire book called Shoftim that talks about how Hebrew Israel, he calls it the roller coaster book. I call it the relapse book. Okay? Where they go into bondage, they go into captivity, they cry out to the Most High, which actually means they started doing things differently. They showed the Most High that, hey, we want to do these mitzvot. And by our actions, you act upon that, not just because there's a whole bunch of lip service going on. So when you cry out, that don't mean just say something and not follow up and do it. Okay? So they cried out over and over again. All right? Our ancestors, I have to take a sidebar. Our ancestors were a stiff-necked, hard-headed group of folk. And I don't know if that is really besetting of us right now or not. That is probably to the T where we are. A stiff-necked, hard-hearted group of people. But I want to give you license and agency to talk about Christianity. Our prophets warned us of that. Okay? So what do you think the greatest threat to our people is? Come on. Where are the most of your people going to be at tomorrow? Sun worship. So we're not to talk to them about coming out from among idolatry? Why do you have to feel apprehensive to talk about something that the Most High is commanding you to do? Do not feel afraid to say something, because I'm going to tell you something. They have no problem throwing that Bible in your face. They got no problem telling you about what thus saith Jesus the Christ. And I'm supposed to cower behind that. Oh, they're a Christian. I don't want to hurt their feelings. We are on a rescue mission to rescue Hebrew Israel. And your apprehension to share what we know with them is a detriment to the community. Open your mouth. Part of opening your mouth is having confidence in what you know. That means that you're going to have to do some study and some reading on your own. What comes off of this stage, I'm going to speak for myself. I want you to double check what I'm saying. Don't believe it just because I said it and I have a microphone. You are responsible for the information you know, not me. We're all on one accord. So therefore, we can try to move a little forward, okay? So you have license to talk about Christianity. Why did I say that today? Because I'm getting ready to crucify them today. I'm going to put them up on the stake today, all right? So I just don't want anybody to be like, oh, you're just hurting their feelings. No, I'm not. I'm revealing information about something that you're reading that you probably have not even looked at, the way that you're supposed to look at it, okay? So I want to set that disclaimer up first. Let's jump back into 2 Shemuel. We're going to recap 5 and 6 real quick because there's some information that I need to make sure that you pick up before we move on into 7 and 8. Chapter 5 of, and I apologize, Ambassador Harless back there is following me like the Flash. She is on it. At the top of 5, we have David being made king of all Israel in Hebron. Now, we talked about some things about Hebron. Hebron is a what? City of refuge. It's a Levitical city, okay? And then we have reason to believe, because it's a Levitical city, that the Most High told him to go there, because in the death of Melech Shaul, anybody that's the next of kin avenger might be out for David. So the best place for him to be and the safest place for him to be, and I'm standing on my own on that one, that's not in text. I'm putting some things together to say, what is the reason why the Most High would have sent him to Hebron? It's for his own safety, okay? So, we went over some of the mitzvot for the king. Extra credit, how many years did David actually rule? 40. 40 years he ruled. You find out that in verse number 4. David is king over Israel for 40 years. He then, this is important, understand this, he then goes and attacks the Uvisi in the city of Yerushalayim. So the Uvisi have control of this city. David goes in, attacks, acquires it. It is now called the what? City of David. Okay? The city of David. Excuse me. He attacks the Yerushalayim, gets Yerushalayim from the Uvisi, and attacks Zion and acquires Zion. Zion is the city of David. Zion is the city of David. Okay? Yerushalayim is Yerushalayim. Woo, I'm moving too fast. Yerushalayim is Yerushalayim. he goes and attacks Seor. Nevertheless, in 7, David captured the stronghold of Zion, or Zion, and now it is called the city of David. Okay? Right there. That's important to understand, that Zion is called the city of David. And I'm glad the Most High made me mess that up, because I'm going to reiterate it one more time. Actually, I'm going to reiterate it 2 more times because it's a point I got to make later on. Zion is the city of, you can say it, David. Okay. Zion is the city of, which y'all forget? David. Oh, come on, hurry up. We sleep back here. We find out that he takes that city, Zion. And while he is there, there is a king named Hiram. And he's from Zior, because they find out that David is now king, and he now comes in and he gets a palace built for him. He sends in stonemasons and carpenters, and then they all go ahead and they build David this magnanimous palace that he lives in. We find out about some more of David's children that are born to him while he is in Jerusalem. He has, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 children that were born to him in Jerusalem. In Hebron, he had 6 other ones that were born to him in Hebron. I think by the time we get to Tamar, which is his baby girl, I think it's the only girl that he actually has. Tamar is his 20th child. So David has a couple different wives, and he also has several concubines. The Most High and David have a conversation towards the end of 5 about whether or not he should go and attack the Philistine, which the Most High said, yes, go and attack the Philistine. We get into chapter number 6, and we start talking about how David summoned and picked up Israel with 300 men, his entire force, and he engaged on a place called Baal Yehuda to bring up from it a special thing, a special article that we have, right? Talks about the ark, which bears the name of Eye Asher Eye Savaot, where the Kevarim are enthroned upon it. This whole entire chapter is about one issue, which is bringing the ark up from where it was. Avinadav. Everybody who remember who Avinadav was? Okay, let's go over who Avinadav was. Let's go all the way back to this idol god named Dagon. All right? They're fighting the Philistine. This is going all the way back to 1 Samuel, where you have Eli, who's the Kohanim Hagadol. He has 2 corrupt sons. They go into battle with the Philistine. They lose this battle, and the ark is taken. It's taken into the temple of Dagon. We talked about how when it was placed in there, the priest left out. They came back the next day, and Dagon was on his face. I've fallen and I can't get up. Come on, you guys remember all this stuff we were talking about? Next day, they set him back up, or at least that same day, they set him back up. They come back the very next day. He's back down on his face again, decapitated. There's a bunch of extra credit. What are the 2 plagues that the Most High hit him with? Tumors was one of them, and I said they're biggest cats in the subway system in New York. Rats. Okay? They put these gold rats and these gold tumors on the cart with the ark and said, get this thing up out of here. They watched it go all the way to Bet Shemesh. I think that's where they took it. When our ancestors got a hold of it and saw it, they took the cart, broke all the wood off of it, burned and actually slaughtered the cows and made a burnt offering right there. Which at least if you continue to keep reading on, you find out that 50,000 people died because they looked at it. 50,000 people died because they looked at the ark. Is that a mitzvot? Yes, it is a mitzvot. Because when we went over who is to go ahead and carry the ark, which is the tribe of Kahat, which happens to be one of the sons of Levi. It's Kahat, Merari, and Gershom. They all have specific things that they have to do. Kahat has the ability, or at least was given the task, of going in and carrying the ark. But prior to them going and carrying the ark, Aharon and Moshe had to go into the tent of meeting and take down the curtain and cover the ark so they could go in and get it. Because anybody that looks at the ark, you will die. So when you're reading these things, you're saying to yourself, is that a mitzvah? Oh, yeah, it's a mitzvah. Okay? So what happens is 50,000 people end up dying, and they take it to the house of Avinadav. And it stays with Avinadav for 20 years. Now, in the previous chapter, we did some math. I said when this started happening, when David took rule over Israel, he was 30 years old. And I said that the ark had been down with Avinadav for 20 years. So I said, how old was David when Dagon happened? He was 10 years old when this issue of Dagon happened. Okay? So, it's down there with Avinadav. That's what we pick up in 2 Shemuel, chapter number 6, where it talks about he's bringing the ark from the house of Avinadav and he's bringing it back into Israel. Okay? As he's bringing it back, we have this little situation I talked about last week. Do you have a ride or die? Right? Do you got a ride or die? And why did I say that? Because I talked about the issue towards the end of chapter number 6, where Michal, David's, I'm standing on my own on this one, ex-wife. She's coming out and she's upset. We went through the issue of, hey, she's in love with this guy. She was promised to him. She got the man of her dreams. When I said she's a ride or die, what did she do? When David got out of bounds with her father, Melech Shaul, he ran home to whom? He ran home to Michal. And Michal and David have this little exchange. I'm on the run, sweetheart, from your father. What does she do? She goes and gets a household idol, puts it in the bed, puts some goat's hair or whatever kind of hair over top of it, and covers it up to cover up the fact that David is not there. He escapes out the window. The troops show up and say, we're looking for David. That's that whole entire thing where I said, let's just test whether or not you're a ride or die or not. Where I said, if your man came to you, and I made y'all look at each other. If your man came to you and told you that he was on the run from the DEA, would you tell him where he was? You be quiet, because we already know your answer already. Would you tell? No. She didn't tell. She didn't tell. What she did was she covered. And then when her father showed up and confronted her on it, this is the king of Israel, she made up a lie to cover her own butt. My point with bringing all that up is that she loved this man to the point where she was going to lie and actually go probably get killed. Was on the precipice of getting killed for this man. Okay? She shows up and she gets married off to another person, Patiel, which makes her an adulterer, right? Because David never divorced her. He was on the run. He left. And then Melech Shaul, what does he do? He says, you are now going to be Patiel's wife. So that made her in violation of Vayikra chapter number 20, verse 10, which talks about the adulterer and the adulteress. She finds out that now that we've made then this is why Israel is now under the rulership of David, because of this, these peace accords between Abner and David. Abner is the commander of Shaul's army. Now, Shaul's dead, and Ishbosheth is king. Ishbosheth and Abner get out of sorts over this concubine. Abner says, forget you. Bro, I'm out. He goes and talks to David. He says to David, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and deliver all of Israel to you. He said, on one condition, that you bring me my wife, Michal. So one can conclude the way the text reads is that when she got there, the first thing David probably did was hand her a divorce document. It's better for me to divorce you. At least let me separate myself from you right now, because you actually are an adulterer right now. You really are deserving of death. Okay? Probably doing something the best thing for her and for him But you got to remember, in her head, she's in love with this guy. She got married off to somebody that she didn't want to be with. And now your man that you've always wanted, now is the king of Israel, is coming in and saying, I want my wife back. She's happy. And the first thing that you get when you show up is a divorce document. So you're going to be a little upset, right? So we get to the end of chapter number 6, where it says that she came out and she confronted David. Because David is dancing. We get that whole entire thing when we talked about Fred Hammond. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my heart, I will dance like David danced. We had a good old time singing that song. Never understood why David was dancing at all. Because the Ark of the Covenant was coming back to Jerusalem. That's why we're dancing. Not because your power bill got paid that week. Or whatever else you wanted to make it because we didn't have an understanding. He's dancing because of that. He has the linen tunic on. And as he's got the linen tunic on, the linen tunic is kind of see-through. So you can see him jingling and jangling and swaying all over the place. So McCall comes out and says, look at how you've humiliated yourself in front of everybody. And David claps back on her so quick. He says, how in the world, how dare you come at me like this? I'll make myself look more contemptible in the eyes of these slave girls. Since you think that that's so deplorable. You know why I will? It's because of the fact that all of Israel is celebrating because the ark is coming back and you're being petty enough to bring this issue up right now. How come you're not celebrating with the rest of us? At least those slave girls know why I'm dancing. You don't. You want to be petty. But we said, is she justified in her pettiness? Yes, she's justified, but it's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the end of chapter number 6. Let's get into, matter of fact, are we okay? You want me to go over that again? We good. Chapter number 7, 2 Samuel. In chapter number 7 in 2 Samuel, we are going to go over how Melech David wants to build a house for the ark. We're not going to go through too much in chapter number 7. It reads fairly quick, and there's really not a lot of mitzvot to pull out of it. Our meat is going to be in chapter number 8, where Melech David's power and conquest over the nations grows. He's going to conquer a lot of nations in the first part of chapter number 8. And then Melech David's administration staff is named. You'll find out who Melech David's bodyguards are, who his commander is, which you should know already. Who's the commander of David's army? Yoav. Yoav is who to David? David is Yoav's what? Nephew. Yeah. They're related. David has a sister, an older sister, who has a son whose name is Yoav. He's the commander of that army. So Yoav, although he's older than David, David is Yoav's uncle. Technically, that's his nephew. All right? Let's begin at chapter number 7. Chapter number 7, 2 Samuel. After the king had been living in his palace a while, after Ahijah had given him rest from all of his surrounding enemies, the king said to Natan the prophet, this is not Natan his son, this is Natan the prophet, here, I am living in a cedar wood palace, but the ark of El is kept in a tent. That's a valid concern. When the Most High moved, he always moved in style. He was decked out with gold and silver and bronze. And right now, I'm living in this big palace as David, and the ark is in some tent. That doesn't seem right, does it? So he's asking the prophet here. And if you want some backstory here, if you want to take some notes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go over here. These are some of the places I'm going to go today. If you want to actually, those are the big ones. There's one that's on there, and I'm giving it away. Don't smile. Ambassador Harless, I'm going to need you to pull up Hebrews chapter 7. Shemot chapter number 25 through 27 delineates the mitzvot on the construction of the tent of meeting, if you want to do some backstory. Verse 3, Natan said to the king, go do everything that is in your heart, for Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh is with you. Who is telling him to go build a palace or a structure for the Most High? Who's telling him, David, to do that right now? Natan. You don't hear Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh telling him to do that. Remember that. Okay? If this is Natan speaking to the king saying, you should go do what you're talking about doing, great idea. The Most High is going to be with you. Look at it that way. Okay? 4. But that same night, the word of Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh came to Natan. So, all right, the Most High is getting in here now. You told him to do something. Let's see what he's going to tell Natan. Go and tell my servant David that this is what Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh says. You are going to build me a house to live in. Since the day I brought the people out of Israel, out of Mizraim until today, I've never lived in a house. Rather, I traveled in a tent and a tabernacle. Everywhere I traveled with all the people of Israel, did I ever speak a word to any of the tribes of Israel whom I ordered to shepherd my people Israel, asking, why haven't you built me a cedar wood house? He's asking him in this dream. He's coming to him. He's saying, out of all the times that we were out in the wilderness, when did I ever ask for a cedar wood house to be built from my people? Okay? 8, therefore, say this to my servant who? Come on. Who? David. Good. David. That this is what Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh Savaot says. I took you from the sheep yards. Is that true? Yes. From following the sheep to make you chief over my people. Make you who, what? Chief over Israel. Over my people, over Israel. I have been with you wherever you went. I have destroyed all your enemies ahead of you. And I am making your reputation great, like the reputations of the greatest people on earth. I will assign a place to my people Israel. Where is that? That is the land. I will plant them there so they can live in their own place without being disturbed by anyone. Is that an oath? Yes, that is. That is the oath that was made to your ancestor who? Abraham. Verification. We need this data to verify what was being said here is true. That's what we do as Hebrews, right? Verify the information that's in front of you. The wicked will no longer oppress them as they did at the beginning. And as they did from the time I ordered the judges to be over my people Israel. Instead, I will give you rest from all of your enemies. Moreover, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh tells you that Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh will make you a house. When your days come to an end and you sleep with your ancestors, I will establish one of your descendants, not Jesus Christ. He's not a descendant of David, y'all. You did know that, right? They said he's the king of the Jew. Is that what they said? That he's from the tribe of Yehuda? He doesn't have any Yehudim blood in him. Hopefully you knew that. But I'm taking away too much of my thunder when I get to Hebrews chapter number 7. Let's go back to 11. Oh, matter of fact, let's go back up to that sentence above it where it says the wicked. We got that up there? The wicked. There we go. The wicked will no longer oppress them as they did at the beginning, and as they did from the time I ordered the judges to be over my people Israel. Instead, I will give you rest from all your enemies. Moreover, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh tells you that Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh will make you a house when your days come to an end and you sleep with your ancestors. Again, I wanted to read that to emphasize. I will establish one of your descendants to succeed you, one of your own flesh and blood. That means he has to come from David directly, not 400, 1,500, however many years you want to calculate down the line. when the Most High took a rest like Rip Van Winkle and woke up 400 years later and decided to change his mind? He has to be directly from David. Is that, I'm sorry, I'm screaming. Is that what the text says? Am I reading it incorrectly? Okay. All right. I will establish one of your descendants to succeed you, one of your own flesh and blood, and I will set up his rulership. He will build a house, not you. Somebody in your line is going to build a house for you, for me. He will build a house for my name, and I will establish his royal throne forever. You need to go no further than 1 Kings chapter number 6, verses 11 through 12. When we talk about who is this, you already know who he's talking about. Shlomo. Okay? We're talking about Shlomo here, one of David's sons. Who's Shlomo's mama? Bathsheba. That's Shlomo's mama. Let's read 1 Kings chapter number 6, verse 11 through 12. Then this word of Asher came to whom? Shlomo. Concerning the house which you are building. Is that not what we're reading right now? Shlomo has got to build the house. Okay? Concerning the house you are building. If you will live. Come on, the mitzvot are always cornerstone and key to everything. If you don't do what I tell you to do in these mitzvot, I don't care who you are. Right? If you will live according to my regulations and follow my rulings and observe all my mitzvot and live by them, then I will establish with you my promise I made to David, your father. Luke, I am your father. I will live in it among the people of Israel, and I will not abandon my people, Israel. Let's jump back into, she affirming what I'm saying over there. I like that. We are establishing here that we are talking about Shlomo, and Shlomo is going to build the house for the Most High, okay? Because we have precursors that are in here. He has to be a direct descendant from David, and it comes to fruition when we read it here, and it's affirmed in 1 Kings chapter number 6, verses 11 through 12. Let's jump back over into 2 Samuel chapter number 7, verse 17. Oh, excuse me, 14. Thank you. I like that. Keep me on track. I will be a father to him, for him, and he will be a son for me. If he does something wrong, I will punish him with a rod and blows, just as everyone gets punished. Nevertheless, my grace will not leave him, as I took it away from Shaul, whom I removed from before you. Let's establish something else too. The Most High picks the king. How can your Yeshua be king if he never told you that's what he was getting ready to do? When you want a king, the mitzvot says, I will appoint it. So when you get to Hebrews chapter number 7, and you start self-appointing, I want to say a word that starts with an S and ends with a T. When you start appointing this, all of your stuff, my friend who I am loved deeply said, your doggy doo-doo. Come on, we got to get there. I got to get to Hebrews chapter 7 because we're going to take some time to get through that. Nathan told David, let me go back to 16. Let's get 16. Thus, your house and your kingdom will be made secure forever before you. Your throne will be set up forever. David is our king for, okay. ever? Ever? 17, Nathan the prophet told David all of these words as described this entire vision, and describe this entire vision. Let's listen to how David gives adoration and thanks to the Most High for bestowing this honor upon him. Then David went in, sat before Eye Asher Eye, and said, who am I, Eye Asher Eye, Elohim? What is my family that has caused you to bring me this far? Yet in your view, Eye Asher Eye, even this was too small a thing. So you have even said that your servant's dynasty will continue on into the distant future. This is indeed a teaching for a man. Eye Asher Eye Elohim. What more can David say to you? For you know your servant intimately. Eye Asher Eye Elohim. For it is for the sake of your word and in accordance with your own heart that you have done all this greatness and revealed it to your servant. Therefore, you are great. Eye Asher Eye El. For there is no one like you, and there is no El besides you. Everything we have heard confirms that. This is indeed a teaching for man. Back up to the end of 19. Eye Asher Eye Elohim, what more can David say to you? For you know your servant intimately, Eye Asher Eye Elohim, for it is for the sake of your word, in accordance with your own heart, that you have done all these things. That means, what is he saying? You intimately know me, and out of the depths of you, you've established my kingdom, not somebody else. Therefore, let me get that, 21. It is for the sake of your word and in accordance with your own heart that you have done all this greatness and revealed it. It is it to you, to your servant. Therefore, you are great. Eye Asher Eye El, for there is no one like you, and there is no El besides you. Everything we have heard confirms this. Who can be compared with to your people, with Israel? What other nation on earth did El set out to redeem, to make into a people for himself? You made yourself a reputation by doing for your land things that even for you are great and terrifying. For the sake of whom? Your people, whom you redeemed for yourself from Mitzrayim and from the nations and from the Els. This is adoration that the Most High is getting from his servant David. 24, you set up a people for yourself and as your people forever. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because I butchered it. I need to say it correctly. It says, you set up your people for yourself as your people forever. And you, Eye Asher Eye, became their El. So now, Eye Asher Eye El establishes forever the word you have spoken to your servant and his house. Do what you have promised. Can you hold the Most High to his word? Do what you said you were going to do. May your name be magnified forever, so that it will be said, Eye Asher Eye Savaot is El over Israel. Nobody else. That Eye Asher Eye is El over Israel. You missed it. Where is Israel? A bunch of them are going to be under another El tomorrow. Who is our El? Thank you. You, Eye Asher Eye Savaot, El of Israel, have disclosed to your servant, and I will build a house. Did I skip something? Yes, I did. Where am I at? 25. Let's go back to 25. Let's get 25. So now, Eya Asher Eya El establishes forever the word you have spoken to your servant and his house. Do what you have promised. May your name be magnified forever, so that it will be said that Eya Asher Eya Savaot is El over Israel, and the dynasty of your servant David will be set up in your presence. You, Eya Asher Eya Savaot, El of Israel, have disclosed to your servant, I will build you a house. This is why your servant has the courage to pray this prayer to you. Now, Eya Asher Eya Elohim, and alone are El. You alone are El. Your words are truth. Does truth matter? Yes, it does. And you have made this wonderful promise to your servant. May it please to bless the family of your servant and thereby cause it to continue forever in your presence. For you, Eya Asher Eya Elohim, have said it. May your servant's family be blessed forever by your blessing. Now you see why they want to make this individual, this superhero across the street, from this tribe, from this lineage. It's very important because there is a blessing that's attached to this rulership that's attached to this, to the lineage of David. Okay? I said, let me say this. I know this is petty. This is petty. This is me being petty. But we've been referring to, or at least it's almost in a derogatory sense, and we probably need to stop as referring to that literary work across the street we call the New Testament a comic book. Right? Only because of the fact that there's a superhero over there that does a lot of stuff. Walks on water, does other kinds of things. Gives people food and all that stuff. I told my sons earlier today, I said, you know what? If this was a present day thing and this Yeshua was walking around, or at least present day, he'd probably have a Marvel movie on him already. All of these things that are superhuman. When in the lineage or any of your ancestry have you heard of anybody doing anything like this? When the Most High sent even a Mashiach, or sent a Shoftim, or sent a judge, did they have superhuman powers? And if there was something that they did that was supernatural, it was always because the Most High did it. It wasn't like they was walking around, going to the street. Hey, Moses, you know what? I need to get to the other side. Bruh, this is like the 25th time today I've parted the waters for y'all. He don't walk around doing that all the time. He don't go around doing politics and throwing snakes on the ground and having his staff turn back into it. He doesn't sit and say, frogs into your house. It was because the Most High did it. So all of a sudden, now we're going to get onto this Greek doctrine who are notorious for making demigods. Come on, you've heard of them. Hercules. All these characters, Zeus, Hera, Mercury, Jupiter, Poseidon, demigods. There's a movie about him called Clash of the Titans. What was that guy's name in Clash of the Titans? But he was a demigod, right? And you bought that hook, line, and sinker. But I digress. Now that we all friends, let's get into chapter number 8. Chapter number 8. Sometime afterward, David attacked the Philistine and subdued them. David took Mateg Ammah out of the hands of the Philistine. He also defeated Moab. Now we have commandments on Moab, and I'm going to read that. Moab and Ammon, the Ammoni. But we're going to continue on. It says, making them lie down on the ground, he measured them with a cord. Every 2 lengths. Now, I'm going to make a note here. I do not know how long this cord is. So I can imagine people laying on the ground, shoulder to shoulder, or maybe, I don't know why they would do head to foot, but shoulder to shoulder on the ground, and there's a cord that goes across them. But in my research, I haven't found anything on this particular cord, how long it is or how this procedure went. It says, David defeated Moab, making them lie on the ground. He measured them with a cord. Every 2 lengths he put to death. He designated 1 length to be kept alive. So every 2 people he killed. There's 2 people that got killed and the one is alive. So he cut them down by 2/3. At least this is how I'm interpreting this. The people of Moab became subjects to David and paid him tribute. Remember that. Remember that sentence right there. The people of Moab became subjects of David and paid what? Tribute. Okay. Tribute to the who? David is the king. The nations are honoring the king by paying him what? Tribute. Thank you. Let's read the mitzvot. Let's jump over to Devarim chapter number 23, verses 4 through 7. I want to go through the mitzvot on the Ammoni and the Moab. Does everybody know who those individuals are? They come, if you don't, they come out of the loins of Lot. Okay? That was incestuous thing that happened with his daughters and Lot, and they had sons, Moab, okay? And those are the nations that come out of that. So there's a mitzvot on those individuals. So when the text here in chapter number 8 talks about David went in and he defeated Moab, there's a mitzvot that's on that. So let's read that. It says, no Ammoni or the Moavi may enter the assembly of Asher, nor may any of his descendants down to the 10th generation ever enter the assembly of Asher, because they did not supply you with food and water when you were on the road after leaving where? Mizraim, and because they hired Bilam, the son of Beor, from Petor in Amram. Remember that. Amram. Remember that name. Nahaarim, and put a curse on you. But Eye Asher your El would not listen to Bilam. Rather, Eye Asher your El turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Eye Asher your El loved you. So you are to never seek their peace or well-being as long as you live. That's for whom? The people of Moab and Ammoni. Going on, it says, but you are not to detest the Edomi, because he is your brother. And you are not to detest an Egyptian, because you lived as a foreigner in his land. The third generation of children born to them may enter the assembly of Asher. Okay? Let's go. Chapter number 8, verse 3. David, on his way to establish his dominion as far as the Euphrates River. Now, we're going to get into all of the places that David conquered, and this is going to go pretty quick until we get to the end here. Also, defeated Hadad-ezer, the son of Rehov, king of Soav. David captured 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. He reserved enough horses for 100 chariots and disabled the rest. When the people of whom? Aram. Didn't we just read something about Amram? Yeah, back in that mitzvot, back in Devarim. We're supposed to get rid of these folk. We got a real problem with them. Okay? So David's continuing to do things that are in the mitzvot, even with the people that he's fighting. That's what I'm trying to establish. Is that we're just not willy-nilly just going out and just fighting folk. They're in the land. They got to get exterminated. Okay? And they have history with us because of things that have happened to our ancestors. Okay? He reserved enough horses for 100 chariots and disabled the rest. When the people of Amram of Damascus, or Damascus if you read it in another version, came to the aid of Hadad-ezer, king of Sovah, David killed 22,000 men of Aram. Then David put garrisons among the people of Aram and Damascus. Aram became subject to David and paid what? Tribute. We got the nations paying tribute to us. I like that. Asher gave victory to David wherever he went. David took the gold shields which Hadad-ezer's servants were wearing and brought them to Yerushalayim. From Betek and Berotai, cities of Hadad-ezer, King David took a great quantity of bronze. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had defeated Hadad-ezer and Tyre's army, Toi sent Joram, his son, to King David to greet and congratulate him on fighting and defeating Hadad-ezer, for Hadad-ezer had been at war with Toi. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Joram brought With him, articles of silver, articles of gold. So wait a minute, these nations are supposed to be paying us. Okay, never mind. I thought I was going to get something out of y'all, but I didn't. But let's keep going. Yoram brought him articles of silver, articles of gold, articles of bronze, which King David dedicated to Eya Asher Eya, along with the silver and gold that he dedicated from all the nations he conquered. Aram, Moab, and the people of Ammon, the Philistine, Amalek, you know about those folks. We got misfolks on all these folks. And the spoil taken from Adad-Hazer, son of Rechov, king of Soav. Now, in Devarim, I'm not going to go over, but in Devarim chapter number 25, verse 17 through 19, you have all of the mitzvot on the Amalek people and how we're to exterminate them as well. 13, David gained more fame on returning from killing how many people? 18,000 men from Aram in the Salt Valley. David stationed garrisons in Edom and put garrisons throughout Edom, and all the people of Edom became subject to him. Eya Asher Eya gave victory to David wherever he went. David ruled over all Israel. David administered law and justice for all his people. Joab, who is that? That's his nephew, but it's also his commander of his army. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, the commander of his army, it says right there. Jehoshaphat, the son of Achliud, was chief advisor. So you're hearing all of the people that are on the royal court. Saruk, the son of Aktuv, and Amalek, the son of Aviatar, were Kohanim. Does everybody remember who Amalek was? Because it says that his son was a Kohanim. Do you remember this issue when David was on the run from Melech Shaul and he ran to a specific Kohen Gadol? His name is Amalek. And Amalek, he said, do you have anything to eat? And Amalek said, oh, I only got this showbread here for you to eat. Okay? Because the first thing he asked him, he's like, what are you doing alone? What are you doing coming here? That's Amalek. What else happened to Amalek? Melech Shaul found out about this through an individual named Doeg that was there. He saw all this. He's saying, oh, okay, I know where he is because you know what? David is being harbored by Amalek. So he goes over there and he confronts Amalek about it. Melech Shaul does. He confronts him and says, you've been harboring a fugitive. And what does Melech Shaul do? He kills all of them. But one of them gets away. His son, Aviatar, now becomes Kohanim. So just a little backstory on that. It's a little nerdy. I'm sorry. I like doing stuff like that. But I want to just make sure you know who these people are. You've heard about them before already. Okay? So he's surrounding him around people that have actually helped him in the past. Why? I have your loyalty. I know what you can. I know what your family is about. You're good people. If I was going to say who's going to be my Kohanim Hagadol, this group. Okay? Because you've proven it to me before in the past. Okay. What did I say here? Where did I leave off? 17. Saduk, the son of Aktuv, and Amalek, the son of Aviatar, were Kohanim. Seraiah was secretary. Benayahu, the son of Yehoda, was in charge of the Kiriti and the Peliti, serving as the king's bodyguards. And David's sons were, that's the end of 8. David's sons were Kohanim. Now, I'm going to tell you about me, okay? Technically, we've gone through 7 and 8 already, so I got some stuff we got to get through. When I got here, does anybody have anything that should pop out? Thank you. Why does something pop out? What is weird here? Let's read that last sentence, or at least read the last couple of words. Matter of fact, and it says, and David's sons were Kohanim. Mitzvot should be going right off. David is from what tribe? So how in the world are his sons Kohanim when the Kohanim come from the tribe of Levi? I'm going to give you an example of how that can be. Now, let's put this in the proper perspective. These individuals were probably taught by the Kohanim, assisted with the Kohanim, and acted in the office as Kohanim. Is there anybody in your ancestry that acted in the office of a Kohanim that carried the mitzvot of the Most High? No, way before that. Way before that. Shh. We're going to get there. He gave you the answer in the back. We have an example of this, what happens before in the past. We need to go all the way back. As a matter of fact, I wanted to go and point out to you, let me give you the backstory on how we know that the Kohanim come from the house of Levi. Let me give you all your mitzvot and all your chapters and verses. Matter of fact, let's go to Shemot chapter number 40, verse 12 through 15. We're going to establish Aharon and his lineage as the Kohanim, serving as the Kohanim Hagadol. Okay? 12. It says, then bring Aharon and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Put the set-apart garments on Aharon, anoint him and consecrate him so that he can serve me in the office of Kohanim, or Kohen. Bring his sons, put tunics on them, and anoint them as you anointed their father, so that they can serve me in the office of Kohen. Their anointing will signify that the office of Kohen is theirs through all their generations. Okay? You can also go to Vayikra, chapter number 1, verse 5 and 8. Also in Vayikra, chapter number 21, verse 1. In Badmidbar, go back, because I know I'm saying this pretty quick. Go back and look at this on YouTube. Badmidbar, chapter number 3, verse 3, 10, 18 and 1 in Badmidbar. In Badmidbar, chapter number 26 and 1. Even in Chronicles, 1 Chronicles, chapter 6, verse 7 through 13, speaks of an example of how Elkanah, who was the father of Shemuel, was a descendant of the house of Levi. Now, I want to establish something here, okay? And I probably did this out of order. I need to establish for you why these guys can act in the office of Kohani. And then now it kind of speaks to the office that I kind of speak in. Because I used to say before in a long time that I didn't like to be called a Kohani. Because I could say I could never trace my roots back to the Levitical tribe. If somebody was to really call me on the mitzvot, how do you know you're part of Levi? Well, it gives me some license to be a Kohanim. And we got to go back to an example and a precedent that's set earlier on, okay, by two individuals. One is named Melchizedek, and the other one is named David. Okay? Let's go read Bereshit chapter number 14, and let's get this. Matter of fact, we need to go up a little bit further and start in, I said 16 through 18, but we're going to start up a little bit further than that. In Bereshit chapter number 14. This is the issue of Melchizedek. Most of you may know about Melchizedek because they say what? Yeshua is compared to Melchizedek. Right? So, let's go right there. That's a good spot. It says, someone who had escaped came and told Avram the what? Oh, the Hebrew who was living in the oaks of Mamre, the Emori, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Abner, all of them allies to Avram. When Avram heard that his nephew, who is his nephew? Lot, had been taken captain, he led out his trained men who had been born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. Moshe is writing this. Moshe assumes you already know where the tribe of Dan's territory is, right? Think about it. Don't look at this as in a chronological order. Moshe is going back and getting all this history from the Most High as he's in the tent of meeting with the Most High. He's getting all this information, and he's writing it down. He knows where these boundaries are. So he's saying you have some reference when you're reading it. Because he's not assuming that you don't know. Okay, let's keep going. As far as Dan, during the night, and he and his servants divided his forces against them, then attacked and pursued all of them all the way to Hovah, north of Damascus. He recovered, this is in the land, right? We just read about Damascus, right? He recovered all the goods that were brought back, recovered all the goods and brought back his nephew Lot with his goods, together with the women and the other people, after his return from slaughtering Kedorlaomer, the kings with him, in the Shaveh Valley, also known as the King's Valley. Here comes this infamous person. Melech-Sedek, king of Shalem. Now, let's break down what Melech-Sedek means. Melech is the word for, I keep calling Melech David. Melech is king. So this is Sedek. What is Sedek? Sadiq in the Hebrew, that letter, that consonant, it means righteousness. So this is the king of righteousness. It's like a title. The king of Shalem. When we say Jerusalem, Salem is the word for peace. So he's the king of the city of peace, the righteous king. Brought out bread and wine. He was Cohen of El Elyon, El the Most High. I got it over here. El of the Most High. 19, so he blessed him with these words. And it goes on and gives that blessing. So by precedent here, we can see that a Kohanim is a person that you can act in the office of Kohanim. You are carrying the Most High's word. Now, does everybody know who, do you know everybody know who Melech-Sedek is? Who is Melech-Sedek? Melech-Sedek Melech-Sedek has a father. Melech-Sedek's father is a man by the name of, who was on an ark. He had two brothers. One brother's name was Japhet. The other brother's name was Ham. Melech-Sedek is Shem. Hebrew, stop. I want to point out something to you right now. This is what you should be doing. Let me teach this and teach this slow. I said Melech-Sedek is Shem. The thing that should be rattling around up there with that gerbil spinning overtime right now is, how do you know that? Just because I said it don't make it necessarily so. How do I know that Melech-Sedek is Shem? In order for me to know that, I need to go to the book of Yasher. Okay? That is where it's established. Now, my Christian and evangelical counterparts are going to discard the book of Yasher, saying that it is a forgery. Well, if you're going to, and that the book of Yasher, even though it is mentioned, the book of Yasher, in what? It's mentioned in Yehoshua, and it's mentioned in Shemuel. In Yehoshua, it's mentioned where the sun stood still for 24 hours, right? It's also mentioned in Shemuel when Melech David quotes a lament from Yaakov out of the book of Yasher. So we know that the book of Yasher exists. But our contemporaries in Christianity will say, throw the book of Yasher out because it's a forgery, because it's a lost book. And I would ask them, if it's a lost book, then produce the original. How do you know it's a forgery? I only can go off of what I have in front of me. So if we go to the book of Yasher, I'm going to read it for you. Write this down. Yasher, chapter 16, verse 11. Says, and Melech-Sedek, Adonai-Sedek, king of Jerusalem. Is that not what that text just says? He says he's what? He's the king. Go back up to the part. We're going to scroll up a little bit. When I broke that down for you, I said Melech-Sedek, king of Shalem, city of peace. That's what Jerusalem means, city of peace. Jerusalem, the same was Shem, went out with his men to meet Avram and the people with bread and wine, and remained together in the valley of Melech. That's what it reads right out of the book of Yasher. So if anybody questions you on where you got that Melech-Sedek is Shem, then you can say it's in the book of Yasher. Why does that make sense? Because Noach has what? He's the walking Torah right now. He's passing it down to Shem. Where do our tribes come from? So it only makes sense that when Avram goes out, he's meeting his own ancestor or a person from his own family. Okay? This is the person that a lot of our patriarchs learned from, Melchizedek. So, therefore, it makes sense as to why this individual can be called a Kohen for the Most High, because he has the mitzvot. Okay? Now, I want to go to Psalms chapter 110, and this is where it's going to get good, and I might have to give a microphone to my friend in the back who's standing up because he can't sit still when I start talking about Hebrews chapter 7, because we're getting ready to go there in a second. But I need to read to you chapter number 110 of Psalms. It says, a Psalm of David. Who writes the Psalms? David. His son, Shlomo, writes the Song of Solomon or Song of Shlomo. He also writes Ecclesiastics, and he also writes the Proverbs. I want to make a huge point right here. A Psalm of David, Psalm 110, it says, Eye Asher Eye, says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Eye Asher Eye will send, I want to see if you can figure out who he's talking about. Eye Asher Eye will send your powerful scepter out from Zion. Who just conquered Zion? David. David conquered Zion. So that you will rule over your enemies around you. Is that not what is that the Most High told Nathan? And David is thanking him for this particular piece right here. 3, on the day your forces mobilize, your people willingly offer themselves in set-apart splendor from the womb of the dawn. The dew of your youth is yours. 4, Eye Asher Eye. Who is this? I just want to make sure, matter of fact, I should make y'all read this. Matter of fact, let's just read it together. Eye Asher Eye. Well, y'all missed that when I said, let's read this together. 1 and 2 and, okay. Eye Asher Eye has sworn it, and he will never retract it. You are a Kohen forever, to be compared with Melchizedek. This is the only place in text that you will ever hear the Most High or anybody say anybody being compared to Melchizedek. And who is that? King David. Okay? Five, Eye Asher Eye, at your right hand will slaughter kings on the day of his anger. Did we just not read in chapter number 8 all of these places and the people that the Most High allowed David to take out? 22,000, 30,000, all these people, 18,000. 6, he will pass judgment among the nations, filling it with dead bodies. He will shatter heads throughout it's an extensive territory. He will drink from a stream as he goes on his way. Therefore, he will hold his head high. Hebrews chapter number 7 in the New Testament reads as such. Now that you have all of the backstory, now that you know who is compared to Melchizedek, now that you know that Melchizedek is Shem, let's set all this up and go through this. Okay? This, now Hebrews, you in a Greek text now. What are you supposed to have on right now? We got to put on our mitzvot caps, okay? We are verifying everything that's written here. This Melchizedek, king of Salem, is that right? Yes. A Kohen of El Elyon, the Most High. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah. Met Avram Avraham, that should be Avram because his name wasn't changed yet, but I'll give you that one, met Avraham on his way back from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. Is that correct? Okay, we're on good ground. Also, Avram gave him a tenth of everything. Is that correct? Did it say that he gave him a tenth of everything? Okay. Let's just say that he did. Doesn't matter because it's going to get blown out of the water anyway. Let's just say that he did. Now, first of all, by translation, the name, he is king of righteousness. Is that correct? Yes. And then he is also king of Shalem, which means king of peace. It sounds like they're teaching Hebrew over here in the New Testament, y'all. We on good ground. All right. 3, there is no record of his father. Wait a minute. I just told you that Melchizedek, who's was Shem, and who was Shem's father? Noach. We are not going to get too far into this before, but again, you guys, again, what is the whole entire deal of this doctrine that they have over here? These ancillary books, stay out of them. Don't read them. They don't mean anything. Don't learn the mitzvot, because if you do, it will tear down our doctrine. Just stay over here. Paul Mooney. Oh, my, I can't even say that joke. Anyway, I can't do that. Paul Mooney is one of my favorite comedians. I can't say that joke. Anyway, let's go. There is no record of his father. That's not true. Mother, ancestry. Excuse me, ancestry? We know his ancestry. Birth or death. Rather, like the son of El, he continues as a Kohanim for all time. No, Melchizedek died. Okay? So we got things wrong with verse 3. Can we agree with that? Okay. Verse 4. Just think how great he was. Even the patriarch Abraham gave him a tenth, of the choicest spoils. Now the descendants of Levi, who became Kohanim, have the Wait a minute. Are they getting ready to quote? They're getting ready to quote y'all text. Let's see. The commandment in the Torah to take a tenth of the income of the people, that is, from their own brothers, despite the fact that they too are descended from Avram. But Melchizedek, even though he was not descended from Levi, took a tenth from Abraham. You see what they're doing? They want that money too. Let me just say that too. Let me just say this. I got some new folks that's in here. When you with your folks and they over there complaining about the tithe and what they need to do, they 10%, you need to call them on that. Say, I'm going to release you. I'm going to give you agency and on this. You do not have to pay a tithe. And if your pastor gets in front of you and tells you that, he's out of compliance. Why? Because you're not Hebrew. That is a Hebrew mitzvah. And the reason why that tithe is paid is because our brothers don't have an inheritance in the land. And why were they designated to be the Most High's own? Because when the goat, Moshe, came down from the mountain and they said, who is going to stand with the Most High? The tribe of Levi stepped out and said, I will be for the Most High. And they were designated. So when we get into the land, they don't have an inheritance. So everybody and the rest of the tribes pulls a tenth to pay for them. That's why you have mitzvot. Look, good gracious, how many mitzvot did I just rattle off? That's why you have the mitzvot on what? The cities of refuge. You have the mitzvot on the Levitical cities. How long a person can stay there. These are all things that are germane to the Levitical tribe, okay? And the Kohanim being a part of that. But you're trying to apply the fact that because Levi was an Avraham seed floating around somewhere, how can that work? Because we got to come through Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov to get to Levi. That Levi now, when he's set aside, you see how this, I'm trying to unravel this. Levi is now set aside as paying a tenth. So it's like what Abraham did, paying Melchizedek, was like what what the tribes were going to do to the tribe of Levi. See how convoluted that is? That's what you're trying to do here. Now, I'm going to sum this all up for y'all. Or really, I am. I'm going to make this real simple at the end, okay? Because I'm going through a lot of detail here. Moreover, let's go verse 8. Moreover, in the case of Kohanim, the tenth is received by men who die. That is correct. While in the case of Melchizedek, it is received by someone who is testified to be still alive. Is Melchizedek testifying to be still alive? No. 9. One might even go further. Do you understand what they're saying? What's happening right now? This is commentary. This is commentary. We're not quoting anything. This is setting up a philosophy. Think of it like this. One might even go further to say that Levi, who himself receives a tenth, paid a tenth through Abraham, insomuch as was still his ancestor, Abraham's body, when Melchizedek met him. Therefore, yeah, that's a lot to unpack. There's a ton of mitzvot in there that are all wrong. But I'm going to keep going. 11. Therefore, if it had been possible to reach the goal through a system of Kohanim derived from Levi, since in connection with it the people were given the Torah, what need would there have been for another, different kind of Kohanim, the one spoken of as to be compared with Melchizedek and not to be compared with Aharon? Whew! Break that apart. In theory, you're right, because he's saying right at the top, therefore, if it had been possible to reach the goal through a system of Kohanim to drive through Levi, here it is. What need would there have been for another? They're trying to set up something to say, we're going to establish something else. So had you been able to reach your goals through Torah, we wouldn't have to establish something else. So since it wasn't met, we got to establish something different. Okay? In the sense that different kind of Kohanim, the one spoken of as being compared with Melchizedek. Who has been compared to Melchizedek that we know of? David, okay? And not being compared to Aharon. For if the system of Kohanim is transformed. Why does that not like make y'all go crazy right now? That should be so triggering to y'all right now. Even that baby back there know that that's triggering. You should be triggered, or I must be boring y'all half to death. Right now, I'm coming out of my skin by reading that. And so should y'all. Maybe I need to read it a little bit slower for y'all. Let's wake up. It's right there in front of you. It says what? It says 12. For if the system of Kohanim is transformed, why are we talking about transforming anything? There must be of necessity occur to transform the transformation of Torah. They just put it at your doorstep. You cannot take away, add to, do anything. They just told you. This is where they get licensed to say, we can do away with it. That's what I'm trying to get out of y'all. The egregiousness is in your face. Right here, it says in 12 emphatically, for if the system of Kohanim is transformed, that's our agenda, there must of necessity, there's a need, it's important, it's tantamount to occur a transformation of Torah. The one whom these things are said belongs to another tribe, from which no one has ever served at the altar. That's true, that's Yehudah. For everyone knows that our Lord arose out of Yehudah. No, he didn't. He came out of the tribe of Levi. His mother is a Levite. Go to Dr. Luke, chapter number 1. It talks about how Elisheva is a close descendant of Mary. Mary is the only blood relative to Yeshua. Joseph has nothing to do with this man. Matter of fact, you know what's up, Rabbi? They don't even need Hebrews chapter 7. Because if you're trying to establish Yeshua as Kohen Gadol, he's already from the tribe of Levi, you clowns. Why would you try to establish him as something else? Why are we doing these gyrations when he's already from that tribe? You can already tell him he's a Kohanim. But I'm giving my thunder away because that's what they're getting ready to tell you here later on. Okay. 13. Oh, I already read that already. 15. It becomes even clearer. Since y'all don't get it, let's make it even clearer. Since we just told you that we just got rid of Torah, let me make it even more emphatic for you. Okay? 15. It becomes even clearer if a different kind of Kohen, like Melchizedek, arises, one who became a Kohanim not by the virtue of Torah concerning physical descent, but by virtue of the power of an indestructible life. So we're establishing our Kohen based on the precedent that he never dies. They are telling you the agenda, but you don't look at it that way because you're brought in. This is the travesty of what's going on across the street. You're brought in already knowing that Torah is negative. It is something bad. It is something evil. It is something done away with. We've upgraded. Why are you back there? You come in thinking that way when that's not the case. Let's go on. It says, for it is stated, you are a Kohen forever, to be compared to Melchizedek. I want to go a little bit further. Thus, on one hand, the earlier rule is set aside because of its weakness and inefficacy. So let's do away with Torah because it's weak, ineffective. For the Torah did not bring anything to the goal. If you haven't got up, and matter of fact, let's just go right now. We're done. Let's just pack this thing up right now and leave. Not only did you smack me in the face and spit on me, now you're putting some stank on it. Okay? Making a statement like that by saying that the Torah didn't bring anything to this goal. If you knew anything about dispensations of time of 6th, 7th, and 8th, you would understand that the Torah can't be brought to, in this day and age, it cannot be brought to its goal. But see, you wouldn't know that because you don't read no text. And you let somebody just tell you that. Okay. And on the other hand, a hope of something better is introduced, through which we are all drawing to Yahweh. Okay? 20. This is the part where I can't give it away because okay. What is more? Eye Ashe Eye El Shaddai, Yahweh Savaot, El Elyon, Yahweh. Yahweh swore an oath, for no oath was sworn in connection with those who become Kohanim now. But Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath which El swore when he said to him. Stop. Pause. Wait a minute. 21. But Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath which El swore when he said to him. El said to Yeshua, Eye Asher Yes has sworn and will not change his mind. You are Kohanim forever. Excuse me if we go back. That's coming out of Psalms 110. That is David, not you. All you have to do is even go to Psalms chapter 110 and then come over here and say, hey, listen, you got a problem that's right here. You got a statement that says that Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath. Where is that? Please tell me where that is written down. Where Yeshua has been made, there's an oath made between Yeshua and the Most High. I thought that Yeshua was the Most High. So he's making an oath to himself. That he swore to himself, that he said to himself, that Eye Asher Eye, me, swore not to change my mind. Which this is exactly what's happening over here, because in the pretext, doesn't it just say we need to do something else? If this is ordained by the Most High, then he doesn't change his mind. What? Woo, y'all putting the dagger to your own throat in your own text. Also, this even gets better, y'all. It says also, this shows how much better is the covenant of which Yeshua has become the guarantor. Moreover, The present Kohanim are many in number because they are prevented by death from continuing in office. But because he lives, who they're talking about is Yeshua, forever, his position as Kohanim does not pass on to someone else. And consequently, he is totally able to deliver those who approach El through him. How is that possible? The Most High does not accept human sacrifices. How does that work? Since he is alive forever and thus forever able to intercede on their behalf. This is the kind of Kohanim Gadol that meets our needs. That's 3 strikes you out. Come on now. There are 3 places in there that say we changed it. We put it in your face. We're telling you that the Torah is weak and ineffective. We don't need it anymore. So on and so forth. And you got this 3rd strike here that says, this is the kind of Kohen Gadol that meets our needs. I don't care what Yahweh wants. This is what we want. Set apart, without evil. How do you define what evil is? You have to have the Torah in order to understand what that is, and you just did away with it. So by what standards are we evaluating evil now, since it's been done away with? Without stain, set apart. How do you get set apart, Rosh or Hodesh, without being, again, Torah, from sinners and raised higher than the heavens? Now you're getting way out of bounds. You're saying that you are higher than the heavens where the Most High's throne is? With this teaching, come on. One who does not have daily necessities like the other Kohanim Gadol, of offering up sacrifices first for their own sins and then only for those of the people, because he offered one sacrifice once and for all by offering up himself. You do not... No human sacrifices, y'all. This cannot happen this way. 4, Torah appoints a Kohanim Gadol, men who have weakness, but the text which speaks about swearing an oath, because we do have that, Kohanim, y'all don't butcher this one too. The text that's swearing the oath, a text written later than Torah, appoints a son who had been brought to the goal forever. Thank you. Who said what? Thank you. Let me read that slower again. It says, 28, for the Torah appoints as Kohanim Gadol men who have weaknesses. Is that correct? Yes, it is. They have weaknesses. But the text which speaks about the swearing of the oath, I don't know which one that is, a text written that later than the Torah. A text written later than the Torah. Why are we entertaining any text written later than the Torah concerning mitzvot that you want to use to establish your Kohen Gadol by having the audacity to go up above and talk about the tithe, saying, okay, this is why we're justifying this, because we can pull this Levitical issue about paying a tithe. You keep reaching over to grab our stuff, and you're mangling it, okay? A son who has been brought to the goal forever. Now, that ends Hebrews chapter 7. He said, good, I'm glad. I don't think I can stomach it anymore. That's a lot to go through. And you can't do that with somebody at work, or you standing in the beautician's chair, you getting your hair cut, or wherever you may be. You can't go through that whole liturgy with that, okay? You know what? And I'm done, I'm closing. You know what I'm more concerned about when I meet people and try to go through this whole entire dissertation? Because in order for them to even understand this, they're going to have an understanding of the mitzvot. The foundation of this is mitzvot. And you don't have time to do that. You know what I do now? I tell individuals that I meet, everything that you hear and everything that you read, you need to be able to verify it for yourself. You need to be able to read it for yourself. If you're going to start at Genesis and read all the way to Revelations, I'm guaranteeing you by the time that you get to Matthew, some things are going to be way excuse my French, way the hell off. Okay? Not to saying that there's anything, when you get to Matthew, that's when the hell's going to start breaking loose. Okay? Read and challenge everything that you hear and see from anybody standing on the stage, including myself. You are responsible for the information that you know. Well, what does this got to do with my salvation? My salvation is what I want. I'm not dying and going to hell. I'm glad that you brought up the issue of hell, because that only proves my point. And this is what I tell people. Prove to me when hell was made and who made it. Prove to me when hell was made and who made it, because I can prove to you when the sun was made. I can prove to you when the stars were made and who made it. I can prove to you that construct you call a body, when that was made. I know what day it was made on, and I know who made it. I know the Eretz was made on a certain day, and I know who made it. So, when was hell made and who made it? Because after 6 days, the Most High doesn't mention anything about making a hell. So if you're so worried about your salvation and dying and not going to hell, prove to me that place even exists. I don't want you to listen to what I have to say. I want you to go out, take the information, and verify it for yourself. You'll find out that hell is a construct that comes from the Roman Catholic Church that was inserted into the New Testament on purpose. Okay? Anytime in your Hebrew text it talks about anything remotely close to a quote-unquote hell, that's talking about Sheol. The translation for the word Sheol is the grave. It's the ground. Okay? Hell is a concept that's not in the mind of Hebrew Israel. Not at all. So, that's an easy conversation to have. I'm just giving you the information. I'm not out here to battle you. I'm not out here to fight you on anything. I just want you to have some information so you own it. Don't go run. If you want to go run into your pastor, go run to your pastor. But you need to know this about your own faith and your own religion. If you can't answer who made hell and when it was made, then why are you believing in that construct? And then sitting to say that you're going to base your soul and your salvation on a fictitious place? If it's all about my salvation and my soul. Okay? Have these conversations, and then when you get to that particular point, let me take you on over to Hebrews. After you get their feet wet a little bit with these mitzvot, you say, look at this doctrine over here. The El that you serve is being disrespected, and the mitzvot are being done away with. Is that what the Most High really wanted? I think not. Okay? Hopefully you got something out of this today in this dissertation. Did we have a good time today? All right. I want to, even though in the land, Mother's Day is tomorrow, I want to thank and give adoration to all the mothers that are here. Motherhood is something that is a mitzvot in the sense that we teach the young ones how to observe the mitzvot. Mother is a cornerstone to the family. So I say peace and Shabbat Shalom to all the mothers here. I'm going to bless you, and then I'm going to turn this over and put this back into the hands of Sister V as we transition to the back. All right? I've had an awesome time today with you Hebrews, discussing the things that are germane to the Most High. Yivareka Yahweh v'yishmareka. Yahweh, Yair Yahweh panav eleka v'chuneka. Yisa Yahweh panav eleka v'yasam laka shalom. Which simply means, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift his face towards all of you and give you shalom, shalom. Till next time.